Hey everyone, it's Reeda here. Today I want to talk to you about making your own bath salts, and these would have to be one of my favourite gifts to give people. It's incredibly quick and easy to do, but it's also lovely. They look beautiful. So I've just got some samples here of some bath salts that have got botanicals in there. You don't have to use botanicals. I love the botanicals because it gives a bit of a pop of colour, but you're also getting some of the benefits of the botanicals as well. So this one is a layered version through there. Then we've got a mixed version too. So this one, I actually love this. I love, my favourite combination with my botanicals tends to be this red, yellow and blue together. So we've got calendula, rose petals and cornflower petals in there. And it's just absolutely stunning. I love that. And you can layer that as well. It doesn't have to be mixed through, but I love the white that pops against those colours. I think that looks really beautiful. And that also looks really nice just sitting on your bathroom shelf as well, so it's a really lovely visual too. You can also get things like your Makona jars and you can layer through there, or you can mix a big batch through, and I love using these because you can even put some of the botanicals in the top there and it makes it look lovely. So I'm going to show you how to actually do this and talk you through some of the benefits of the things that we're going to use. But I want to encourage you to give this a go because not only is it great as a gift, I actually like using them for myself as well, because there's so many benefits of absorbing your body in and soaking your body in these salts. They give so much extra benefits to your body. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you a layered option. So it doesn't really matter whether you want to mix the different salts or not. You can just use one type. You could just use like an Epsom salt just on its own. You could just use a Dead Sea salt, or you could just use a Himalayan salt. Doesn't really matter, but I like to give it a bit of a mix sometimes because you will get different benefits from the different salts as well. So one thing with your Dead Sea salt is there's a little bit of moisture generally in those, and that can cause, where have I got some? If you can have a look, you probably won't be able to see, but really close in these butterfly pea flowers, there's a little bit of moisture there, so that in the Dead Sea salt, it's kind of absorbed up and coloured some of the Dead Sea salt. I don't mind that at all, but it can cause a bit of clumpiness in the bath salts. So this one was made, I think around Christmas last year, but it's still lovely. You can still use it, but that's something to be aware of, is that there could be a little bit of moisture in there. So maybe use, if you're worried about that, maybe use an Epsom salt and your Himalayan salt. So I'll show you how to do a layered one first. So I've got my Dead Sea salt. Now this smells like the ocean. I actually think it's really lovely on its own. And I actually quite like having the salts without any extra oils in them, and I add the oils as I use them. So if I'm wanting something different, I can add it as I go. So I'll put whichever salt I've chosen first, put some in there. I'll just do a couple of layers in this one. So you just want to kind of flatten it out. So this time I'm using a jar. You can also get little test tubes, and I'll show you how to make those ones too. So I've got just our jar here. Get that flat if you can, but one other little tip is you can hollow out the center a little bit more and push up the sides, because you can actually feel some of those, the middle bit with things that it's not going to be seen, and that can just give you a little bit more height on the sides if you want to do that. So I've got my first base, and then having different botanicals you can choose. You can do things like most people know about lavender. I'm going to do my usual colours because I absolutely love them, but you've also got things like chamomile, which is fantastic for calming people. I'm actually going to use chamomile instead of calendula this time, so I'm going to put some chamomile in. It smells amazing. So these are just tea grade botanicals that you can use. So if you wanted to, you could use them as a tea. So we have those. We have lots of different options so that you can use them for different things. So I'm just going to do a layer of my chamomile, so that gives me my yellow. You can also do things like, we've got even some blends. So this is a Sweet Dreams blend, and it has flecks of purple through there. So we've got some lavender, it's got some chamomile, lots of different herbs in there. So that can be a lovely one too that you can mix through. And like I mentioned before, the butterfly pea. So that one will actually do a little bit of a blue tinge in the water as you're using it. So that's really kind of cool as well. Kids love that one, but I quite like it too. So I've got my one layer of my chamomile, and then I might add a layer of, put some Epsom salts in this one as well. So I've got my Dead Sea salt, my chamomile, and then I'm going to add some Epsom salts. And as I do this, I'm actually going to put it in around the edges first because I want to make sure that you can see it. So you can push this down so it's a bit more compact as well. And then I'm going to spoon in some of my Epsom salts. And like I said, you can choose whichever salts you prefer to use. It doesn't really matter. So that gives me a layer of my 2 different salts there. Flatten it out or give yourself a little bit of a hole in the middle. But you can see some of the salt will actually fall down between the botanicals. So sometimes it can be worth pushing the botanicals out to the side if you want it to stay looking this really pretty way. Then I think a yellow and I love blue. I'm going to go with blue. Some cornflowers in here. So I'm going to put my cornflowers in. So these are full cornflowers. You can just get the petals as well, which don't have the big bulbs. So I'm going to make sure that I will put it out to the side again and make sure you can see the blue. So it smells amazing. So I'm just making sure that it's actually going to be able to be seen from the side. And I'm getting some of the actual petals which have got the blue and making that show through the sides. So when you are using big buds like this, you might have rose buds as well. Make sure that they're going to be seen because the little salt will actually go down the crevices. And you want to make sure you can actually see the petals that you put in there or the buds that you're using. So put that one around. You can get really fancy and make sure it's all flat and even layers, or you can just do whatever you want. Now I'm actually going to do another layer of white on top because I think that'll look really good. I could have used some of the pink Himalayan salt as well. That one is often really good mixed between the white layers. So I'm going to do just some more Epsom salts on top, so it doesn't really matter. If you wanted to add some essential oils to this, I personally prefer to put the bath salts, put them in the bath salts as I'm using them rather than putting them in the whole time. But you can just mix some of the essential oils into one of the salts that you're using and mix that through and let it have a chance to kind of absorb that in. And that means that you will get the smell as you open the bath salts as well. And what you can also do, so that's a blue and yellow one. Just get, I did cornflour. Just get a few of the actual botanicals you use, sprinkle them on the top. A couple of the blue ones as well. So that when it's actually opened, you get a bit of a hint of what's to come in there as well. And just pop that down. Put your lid on. And then you can gift that with maybe a bottle of lavender or something. You don't even have to give it with oils because using that on its own is fantastic. So like you can see that I could have been able maybe put a pink layer on the bottom of your Himalayan salt and have those 3 different salts in there. And then what people will do is they'll normally scoop out with a spoon or something to tip it into the bath, and that'll start to mix that through. And what you can do is, I love having the floating petals and everything through my bath, but it can be a little bit of a pain to clean up. You can get these almost like a little tea bag, and you can scoop from your mix into the tea bag and then sit the tea bag under the running water and then soaking in the bath. So you get the benefit of the bath salts without having to do all the cleanup afterwards. So another thing you can do is have the bath salts made with just the salts and give a little, maybe gift a bag of some, so these are cornflower petals, so something like a rose buds or rose petals or something, and then they can go into the little tea bag and they get the benefits of those while not having to clean it up. So what you can do if you're wanting to make, this is one I made before, make a mix. So this is pretty much the same as what I've got in this here. I've just added, this has got some, what are they called, Himalayan pink salt in there as well. So to use this, I would just scoop equal amounts of my salts in here if I'm wanting to use different salts, and then a tablespoon or so of the botanicals that I want to use, and mix those through. So you can use your spoon to mix everything, and then just get your glass jar and scoop it in. Now the botanicals will tend to go to the top because they're lighter, so it's good to give it a good mix beforehand. But if you start to shake the bottle or the jar, it will actually get the botanicals coming up the top. You can use your spoon and mix it down like this as well. And if you're thinking, oh, there's not enough botanicals showing, get some of the botanicals and shove them down as well. That's another way that you can do it too. So you can kind of play around with this and make it look the way you want. Put your lid on, give it a bit of a shake, and then as you shake it around, those botanicals start to come to the top, and you can see how beautiful that is. I actually love this combination. So we've got, that's the bigger version, that's our little version, and then you can also do in little test tubes. So it's literally as easy as what I just did then. You can layer, so you can do different layers through here and have it looking like different colours and different botanicals in there, or just get your mix that you've already got and put that into your botanicals, into your container. Try and get botanicals in there. But these are lovely little gifts, great stocking fillers at Christmas. They can be good for Mother's Day presents or new baby presents and things like that. And then you've got these lovely little bath salts. So those are some really great, easy, quick gifts that you can do for people. I love having a whole range of botanicals, which you can't see on the side here. I've got glass jars full of our botanicals. That means I can pick and choose depending on what botanical I'm after for the look, or also the benefits that we're going to get, because a lot of these are quite relaxing, but they're also beautiful, vibrant colours as well. So that makes them kind of pop like this. So that's how you make bath salts. You can make some where you'll actually add a carrier oil into there with some essential oils, and you might mix it together like this. All you would do is make sure that you give the mix a chance to actually dry out before you put it into a container. I normally leave it out for about 24 hours or so, and I just, every time I walk past, I give it a bit of a mix like that, and then I'll spoon it into whichever container I'm going to use. So hopefully you'll see this as a super easy way to make bath salts and great gifts for people. Hopefully this has helped, and I hope you have a great day. See ya!